Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Why, presented by All American Roof Pros here at All American Heart Studios. Today, I am sitting down with someone that I think is going to be beneficial to our audience for a few different reasons. I think we align on a lot of principles. I'm excited to chat with him today about what he's got going on in his life in this season. Mr. Tristan Gardner. Tristan, excited to have you, buddy.
Dylan, appreciate you having me out here. I'm excited for this. This is going to be some fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
We talked for, 30 seconds beforehand, so...
we keep her.
I don't know where this is going to take us. Let's have some fun with it.
I don't script these for a reason, and mainly because I want to get to know the real you.
Cool.
And I don't have cards. You know, I got some show notes beforehand, but other than that, we're going to dive right into it. So why don't you kind of give me your elevator pitch? Like, I'm meeting you off the street. You know, how would you introduce yourself?
For sure. I'm Tristan. I've been married for almost 65 years. 6 years, just kidding. So, Lindsay will watch the beginning.
Yeah, she's going to be like,
damn it,
you asshole.
Why you got to do that, right? All the time, right? I like introducing her as my ex-girlfriend sometimes.
Oh, bro, I do that shit to my wife.
Really ruffles some feathers, too. I got two lovely girls. Allie, she's almost 4.5, and Chloe turns 2 in August.
Awesome.
I don't know how many months that is. I think we can stop doing the month thing once she gets to 2. Thank the Lord. Dude. So, we'll get into this right here. I just got a text from my wife. You ready for this?
I'm ready, dog.
Allie just prayed to accept Jesus into her heart with me.
That's awesome.
I can't even make that up.
I love that, man.
Right now.
I love that.
I also have this
Mother's
terrible
Day
habit.
gift?
Oh.
What a Mother's Day.
I also have this habit whenever it vibrates, you look at it. So I'm gonna try to keep it down, right?
I quit wearing mine.
If it didn't, it integrates and it tells me that I'm not fat and I compete with my friends and But anyways, we're gonna have a lot of this too, right?
You're a tangent guy like me, man. I do the Trump weave. I
got the smoking hot beautiful wife who's too good for me. I got the 2 beautiful little girls, girl dad all the way. I run sales and marketing for a government software technology company, and then also do some real estate investing on the side, fix and flips, some buy and hold stuff. Want to dive into some short-term rentals, and travel quite a bit for all of it. So on the road, speaking on stages, doing a lot of conventions, trade show, industry events, different things of that nature.
We are kindred spirits to a degree, and as you know, I'll try not to steal your spotlight and invite you to go back and watch some of the episodes. But we have a lot in common already. I can just tell. You know, I have a little girl. She'll be a year. Well, by the time this episode comes out, she'll be a year for almost a month, or a little over a month. She'll be a year Friday.
Cool.
So let's dive into that real quick, because I always love, here's the reason why. At the end of our life, we're not going to get to the end of our life, and I don't think we're going to get to heaven. God's going to be like, you made a lot of money. He's going to be like, hey, you made a lot of impact. Mm-hmm. And our kids are our number one impact source, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I found out I was having a girl, I'm like, my wife probably thought I felt disappointed. Like, you guys probably, it seemed like you have an open relationship, so you guys probably talked about that. And it wasn't so much disappointment, but for me, I dialed it back and I said it was fear. Right? Yeah. Because I know how boys work, man.
Dude.
I know how boys work. And that's part of the fear, right? And I also don't know absolutely how girls work. So it came back to that. But now that I have a girl, I don't know if I want a boy.
I don't want a boy. I never wanted a boy.
No?
Absolutely not.
Because of you?
Oh, for sure. 100,000% because of me. So Lindsay was like, don't you want a boy? Like play like ball with them? I'm like, I can't throw a ball to save my life. I swam for a reason. She's like, well, what about like landscaping and all the man work? And I'm like, I don't even like doing that. Why the hell would I want to do that with my son? Absolutely not. And I always said this, and I actually went to the Kentucky Derby last week with some of my like high school, college friends.
Nice.
And we're 4.5 hour drive down to Louisville, and we're just talking about all the dumb shit we used to do. And I knew I didn't want a boy, and now I've confirmed 50 times over that I was like, dude, how the hell am I alive? I wouldn't want to deal with the shit that I did, that I got away with 9 times out of 10 in boy form, not a chance in hell. So,
yeah. Well, and that brings up something, because this is why I say we're kindred spirits, because I'm 100% a Christ follower. I mean, I cuss all the time. I'm terrible. I'm a sinner saved by grace by all means. There's no part of me that doesn't go that way.
Sure.
And I love the fact that your little girl just asked to accept Jesus into her heart. That just
4 years old. Yeah.
That just makes my heart so happy, man.
Dude, same.
And the reason why I say all of that is because I think as men, more than as women, and I don't discredit my wife. I get into some political discussions on here because it's my podcast. I pay the bills. I don't give a shit.
Do what you want.
Yeah, but the world wants to put men and women on an equal playing field, and they shouldn't be. My wife does things that I cannot do. My wife gave life. I cannot physically give life. But there's other things that she does intrinsically that I cannot do. I am not a nurturer. I'm a protector. And the example I always give is like my wife wakes up with the babies or with our daughter. I don't wake up at all. And she's like, she'll be laying next to me crying and I'm dead asleep. But the second I hear something that sounds like danger, I'm up. The alarm goes off, the dogs start barking, things like that. That's where I am the protector. And to say all this, back to that Trump weave, we're off on some tangents, but I had to explain myself. It comes back to the fact that as men, we have a responsibility. Our number one responsibility, in my opinion, is to lead our children to Christ. Because we fail the most as parents. If your child does not get into heaven, it is your fault 100% as a parent. It should not be the world's responsibility to make sure that your child gets into heaven. Then you go back to the conversation of, wow, we were hellraisers when we were younger men. How do I, that's where I'm in the power struggle. And my daughter's 1, dude. I don't have this to worry about for a long freaking time. But also at the same time, how in today's society do you say, we're not dating until we're married, until we're doing it for marriage? And I'll tell my sons the same thing. If we have boys, I will tell them the same thing. You are not dating until you are ready to make a genuine commitment to that girl. Because it's not respectful to yourself, but also to her. Right?
Yeah.
And I look back at myself as a shithead and go, you weren't doing that. So that's that baggage that we bring in.
Exactly. What's your wife's name?
Tori.
So you and Tori, right, would have saved a bunch of, we'll just tie it up with a pretty bow and call it bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Baggage, jealousy, bad, just negative thoughts if you and Tori would have dated just with the intention to get married.
Yes.
All the other nonsense that happened before, right?
All the worldly shit.
Exactly.
All the worldly shit. And it comes back to the fact of, I wish my wife and I would have not lived together before marriage. Ironically, this was early. I was on my walk. She was, I don't want to say my wife was an unbeliever because it just sounds really bad. I think she was in the gray, right? She wasn't black where we're over here and thinking that the world's just doom and gloom and God doesn't exist. But she wasn't in the white either where she's attending church regularly. She's in her word. She's doing all the things that she's supposed to do. And I was on the edge of the gray. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was a Christ follower.
Same.
I would have told you.
I was a poster Christ follower, but
yes.
I wasn't even going through the motions.
You had the title, but not the job.
Identifying
yes.
as that sounds shitty expression. 25 standards. Oh boy.
But it's true.
But yeah, I wasn't attending church regularly. I wasn't walking as I should have been walking, and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was just a title Christian.
Yes.
I'm a Christian.
Title Christian, exactly.
I believe, but that's it. There was nothing more than no action.
Which, as we have the conversation, and I don't know how much you're on social media, but my news feed on TikTok will pop up somebody's arguing about water baptism and things like that, and I can go into that based on the word and all that stuff. But as a Christian, there's only one verse in the Bible. Well, there's one verse in the Bible that I feel like is more important on your salvation. That's John 3:16. Whoever believes in Him shall never perish. It doesn't say whoever believes in Him and whoever believes in Him if There's no other attachment to that. There's not an addendum.
The splitting hairs on things. What is it? The predestined versus post. Guys, we're fighting the same stuff.
Yes.
Right? Christianity as a whole, right, is a top level umbrella for 15 different things.
There's so many different dialects within it.
Well, I'm not Christian, I'm Catholic. Well, if you're Catholic, then you're Christian. But just because you're Christian doesn't mean you're Catholic. Because you're Catholic,
You believe that Christ was the one Messiah, but you don't believe it the way that I believe it.
But we're splitting hairs.
Yes, and at the end of the day, it comes back to salvation is what it comes back to, right? When Christ was hanging on the cross, and I mean to turn this into a Bible podcast, but honestly, it's a big reason of my why, and I feel like yours too. When Christ was hanging on the cross next to the two criminals, he looked at the one and said, "You will see me in paradise," all because he believed he was the Messiah. That had nothing outside of that realm. And my grandmother, I was having a discussion with one of our elders at church one time, and I was looking at his roof, ironically, but we just started off on a tangent. And it was right after my grandma had passed, and I was supposed to sing at her funeral. And I sang a secular song, but it has what I believe, and it's all an interpretation. You go back to that interpretation thing, and that's why there's 97, well, there's a hell of a lot more than that, but 97 I can name different versions of Christianity, right? And it's called Follow You to Virgie by Tyler Childers. I don't know if you're familiar. But essentially, it's my grandmother was an Appalachian woman, and it's essentially I'll see you in paradise. Essentially, I'll follow you to paradise. Vergy to the Appalachian culture is ecstasy, is the theory of it, right? So to me, the interpretation of it is I get to follow her to paradise. And my uncle's a preacher, and he was preaching our service. And I remember he said, "You're singing after the band." I'm like, "Great." I'm not a great singer. I just do it because I enjoy it, and it's a way for me to express and all that good stuff. And I play guitar mediocrely. I'm a campfire guitarist. But I remember wrestling in my chair and going, I don't know where Grandma went because Grandma never attended church. Grandma would not attend church. She never saw my uncle preach. Just, you didn't know. She lived a good life. She would give you the shirt off her back. She did all the things that you want to see, but we never knew that she made that prayer. So you're wrestling with it. Do I change the song that I'm going to sing because it doesn't hold that? And he waved me off and said, "Sit down." It's crazy how God works sometimes. He waved me off and said, "Sit down." And I said, "Okay." So I sat down until he was done preaching, and he said, "Dylan's going to come up and sing a song." But in between that, he had told the story about my grandmother around her 86th birthday, called my uncle, or 87th birthday. No, 86. She would have been 88 this year. Around her 86th birthday, called my uncle and said, "I'm ready to pray that prayer." He was supposed to preach that Sunday. Called his pastor and said, "I'm not preaching. I'm going to get my mom."
Heck yeah, that's
and awesome. It's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm good. Thanks, God. I just needed that sign. I was praying for it in my seat. I'm like, you got to tell me that she got there. You know what I mean? Because I can't consciously sing this song with the heart that I want to, and it went off well. But that's where I struggle with Christians is when, like for me, when I speak, they do my bio, you'll always hear me say I'm a Christian first, I'm a husband second, I'm a father third, and I'm a leader last. And I do that very intentionally. I'll do it until I die. It's just the way that I'm wired because that's how I believe that we should live our lives as Christians especially. I should always be talking about Christ. I should do it from the stage. I should glorify Him. I'm not going to beat you with the Bible to get you there, but I'm at least going to let you know, and if you see something in me that you go, "Hey man, that guy's doing something different," you can ask a question. You know what I mean?
I don't understand how... Let's just take Christianity out for a second. You know, we're both Christians and all that, but
we've already crossed that bridge.
Let's take that out. I don't understand. I don't, for the life of me, like either atheism or believing in absolutely nothing, right? Because the more advanced we get as a species, and the more, the people, the theys out there, they found this new thing. All those theys, right? The more they figure out that the Mariana Trench is this deep and the, table is made up of a bajillion
particles,
whatever it is, right?
Atoms.
And the chances of becoming a human are like 1 in 400 trillion. You're more likely to win the lottery some stupid amount of times, right? The numbers are relevant. I think it just serves as more of a fact that we couldn't have done this to itself. Dylan, I'm an extraordinary person. I truly believe that, right? Yeah. Humble as hell, too.
So much humility. I'm just kidding with you, man.
Extraordinary, right? How do you not believe in at least something bigger than human? Right? Regardless on if that's Christianity or
God could be an alien.
Whatever.
I don't know.
But there's something more than us.
Yeah, something had to have a hand. There's the statistical probability of it even happening. The statistical probability that we are here on the earth where it's sitting.
Yep.
Like, I'm a science guy, dude. I want all the numbers. I want the facts. I want the data. But when you look at that, it takes you so much more energy to not believe than it does for me to believe.
The more science that comes out, the more it affirms that you, Mr. I believe, or Mrs. I believe, or they, them, I believe, that it is... there's not some higher being. I call it creator, right? It is God, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's all opinion-based.
The more science that comes out, further backs the fact that we aren't smart enough to do this.
No.
Well, this, and the atoms and the particles and whatever. I mean, look, I'm an IT guy, and I do real estate, and that's about it, right? That's my professions, right? But the more stuff that I come out, and they're like, oh, here's a 300-page paper from probably Harvard, Stanford, some nonsense, right? Which I don't like education either. We can get into that, but I really don't like education. But the more stuff that comes out, I'm like, well, all this means is God is more real than He was for a non-believer than a believer. And the believers, it affirms if they're like, maybe not. And they're like, well, this is by all stats and all things lead back into essentially this is impossible. Of course, there's a probability that it's possible, but it's such a small probability that
it's pretty much impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah, and
there's something bigger than that.
And that's where I go into. Do you have a degree, by the way?
I do.
In what?
Something like computer science.
You don't even know what that is. That's perfect.
No freaking.
No, I love it. I love it.
Dude, I don't even know where it's at. I have no clue where it's at.
I have a high school education mathematics degree that I've never used. We can go into the education conversation I can beat that dead horse for years.
It's a waste.
But, well, you talk about, so here's my thing, man. In academia, right, the issue is, and this stays in the realm of where we're at, the channel, when your academia continually changes their opinion on whether or not there was a Big Bang, when the Big Bang happened, when this happened. Like,
dude.
You don't know. Actually, back to the Rogan thing. Rogan says it the best, that they don't freaking know because no one was there. You're literally playing multiple guess with the technology that you have today. Like, at one point, we thought the Earth was, 10,000 years old. Now all of a sudden, we think it's 3 million years old. Mm-hmm. At the end, and yes, there is some of that with how, so with Scripture, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a challenger. And quite frankly, I think that everyone that is in their walk should challenge themselves to study Islam a little bit. Mm-hmm. We worship a freaking Jew, so you don't even got to worry about that one. It's all in the Old Testament. You just got to open up your Old Testament and read into that a little bit and just kind of go into the laws of how all that worked. But challenge yourself to at least explore what the thought process is. So then you have to go into the atheist realm and understand where their thought process is. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's that they were hurt, is what it comes down to, by the church, because the church is, and I could go into this for like months. I could freaking write a book on my opinion based on how most churches operate. If you don't feel like you're at home, you're probably not, is one of my arguments.
Well, the leaders of the church are also man. And I don't mean man, woman, but we're just...
man as we see it through God, right? And they're going to have mistakes. They're going to have slip-ups. They're going to do dumb shit because that's what they do. If I were to ever fall and somehow end up behind a pulpit somewhere, I'm going to probably drop a few F-bombs that I shouldn't because it's who I am.
Yep.
Are my faults above any other? No sin is above any other. It's just how it works in the world. So... But at the end of the day, if you understand where that atheist is coming from, and they're seeing this science because it's how their mind works, and if you could make the argument of, well, Scripture was, before it was written, it was all word, 100%, but where the hell did that word come from? By the way, where did we come from to be even having this conversation today? There's all these things, and here's the ultimate argument, in my opinion, with atheism versus just a belief in something.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what you believe in, because I do have this, I understand how our Bible reads, but I also believe that our God's a just God, and I believe if you live a good life, you're at least going to get a spot an opportunity to go speak, right? Mm-hmm. Once again, it's my opinion. I know what my Bible reads. I know you have to accept Christ in your life, and there's a lot of Islamic people, well, all of your true Islams believe that Christ wasn't the Messiah, but he was a prophet, so they at least believe in Christ, but they don't believe he was who we believe he is, right? So then you go into that whole thing. But either way, the ultimate argument, in my opinion, is if you're an atheist and you believe that there's nothing and we're just here and we're here and we die, versus us as Christians who believe that we were created with a divine purpose by a God who already knew our life before it existed, well, if you're right, oh well. Exactly. If I'm right, that sounds pretty bad, right? So at least you should believe in something.
Exactly.
And another thing that you kind of hinted on, I had a buddy ask me one time, he goes, man, do you think everyone wants to be led? And I chewed on that. What do you think? This is a really interesting question for me. He goes, do you think that everyone wants to be led? Because you're in a leadership role. Mm-hmm. You don't really have anybody to answer to, much like me, right?
I do think people want to be led. And I look at this initially from a business point of view, right? Because it's lead me versus manage me. Nobody wants to be managed.
No.
You sit there. It's like, oh, yes, I will sit here. Nobody wants that. But they do want to be led, inspired, moved in some capacity. So when you ask that, that's where my mind immediately goes. And I do think so, because even if I'm... Perfect conversation that we're having right now. Let's pretend, you're a Christian and I'm an atheist. And you're not trying to get me to change my point of view, but you're just sharing. And indirectly, you're leading me down a path that you want me to go towards, right?
Planting seeds.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Worst case scenario, you're going to be seen as a reasonable person.
Yes.
Right? Here, perfect example. You started this. I wish my wife and I wouldn't have moved in with each other. I don't want my kids dating before they're ready to be married. Those are the two big things that I'll circle back to.
Yes.
Lindsay and I met in February, got engaged in July I think moved in like August, got married in, or maybe September, I don't know, got married in November, did our thing, right? And there's the customer's always right, which is bullshit, in my opinion.
It's the dumbest. Whoever came up with that,
dude.
The customer is not always right.
No. In most cases, I would say.
And not to say, hold on,
employees,
real
right?
quick disclaimer. My customers, if you're watching, I will try to make it right.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that you're, anyways.
No, you're not right. But there's no reason.
Yes, right? Here, a perfect example. You started this. I wish my wife wouldn't have moved in with each other. I don't want my kids dating before they're ready to be married. Those are the two big things that I'll circle back to.
Yes.
Lindsay and I met in February, got engaged in July, I think moved in like August, got married in, or maybe September, I don't know, got married in November, did our thing, right? And there's the customer's always right.
Dumbest. Whoever came up with that.
Dude.
The customer is not always right.
No. In most cases, I would say.
And not to say,
employees,
real
right?
quick disclaimer. My customers, if you're watching, I will try to make it right.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that you're, anyways.
No, you're not right. But there's no reason to disagree with a customer or anybody. Because a disagreement, if you're like, I believe that you shouldn't move in with your spouse until you're married. I agree with you. I disagree in the sense that we moved in, and I think that we got to figure some stuff out being moved in with each other before we were married. So if it would have been a big enough issue that we couldn't have worked through, we would have brought that up in our premarital counseling and either
Which
worked
is
through it or got
another
married,
thing too, yes.
right? However, I'm not going to, I agree that you believe that. I'm not going to be like, you're wrong, you're an idiot. Because most people, in my opinion, are unreasonable. And the next thing you know, there's a wall and there's a wall. And now you're just, hurling insults at the wall. You're not getting through
And
anything.
you're hurting yourself over that other person, typically.
Dude, I agree with you. I nod in my head, yeah, I'm with you. I don't agree in the same viewpoint, but I agree that you believe that. I agree that you believe you're an atheist. But let me tell you, because I believe that it is my calling, and I believe that the Lord wants me to minister to people. Now, I'm not a stand at the corner, knock on doors, call people. I'm not that kind of guy. But I'm the guy that, come to church, let me grab you a coffee, and you know what, I had one of my good friends, went through a bad breakup, just didn't have a lot of direction, I was like, come to church, and I felt like we were praying at the end, I put my hand on his shoulder, kind of over him, he came to Christ. I didn't say anything really, I just invite, that's my way I personally minister. And I got a big voice, I'll talk, I'll do all that stuff, but saying that you're wrong, you're right in any capacity.
It doesn't help.
No. Because then we're just trying to prove why I'm right and why you're right.
It's the fire and brimstone, right?
Yeah.
It's when you stand up at the pulpit and you tell everybody you're going to hell because of X, Y, and Z. Here's the thing, dude. I don't get to say anything about where you're going. That's not in my book. My book is the way that we're supposed to play it. And once again, this is all interpretation. That's where it's kind of a bitch about the Bible, if we're being honest. Like, once again, why the Protestants exist, why the Baptists exist, just all these things. But it comes back to the fact that, in my opinion, and this is how I take it in sales. That's how I relate everything back to how it's functioning in daily life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat you to death, and it's not sign or die.
Mm-hmm.
It is, hey man, you want to go with us? Great. It's the same thing as how I'm going to talk to you about Christianity. I'll tell you what I think you should be doing if you want my opinion. I'm only going to tell you if you want my opinion. Otherwise, it is just a simple, hey, let's go have lunch. We don't even have to talk about church. Mm-hmm. I might share something that I saw that was really cool, or that, somebody, like yesterday we were in Matthew. We're in Matthew right now. And just doing that walk, and I can take little tidbits back to my life and go, hey, by the way, this is how the pastor interpreted it. I thought it was a really cool interpretation, right? It doesn't have to get anything, we don't have to do it crazy. We were talking about Jesus in the wilderness yesterday. And he was talking about how it's a great depiction of how we're all in a wilderness at different points in our life. And we're generally in the wilderness pretty much all the time because it's how we are here on earth.
Sure.
Where you have somebody tapping on your shoulder. However you want to call the devil. It's trying to work through you, or Satan, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool interpretation. Right? But I'm just going to talk about that when it comes up. I use it as a tool in my tool belt.
For sure.
Otherwise, I'm not going to beat you with a damn Bible. If you're a cashier at freaking Aldi, and I just have a feeling that I'm not going to even, I'll just say, hey, have a blessed day, in the hopes that it creates a spark. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to spark.
Same.
I'm not looking to burn it down.
Yep.
I just want to light a little fire.
Yep.
And that's where I think, where I get frustrated with other folks, because I know their intention is right, but their heart's in the right place, but they're not positioning themselves to let people hear, and that's how people get jaded.
Dude.
And you hear people all the time, well, just all Christian. I heard somebody say that the other day. All Christians are the same. I can't believe they just put that out there. And it's like, and I even catch myself doing it. Where I'll hear somebody, and it's like, I feel like they're trying to get something from me, just trying to leverage my Christianity. And I guess I'm like self-aware enough to know, yeah, that guy's probably not genuine in what he's saying or whatever.
For sure.
You know, but you have to be careful with that stuff, man. You do.
I basically boil it down as this, and my attorney told me this. I'm a fire ready aim guy with 9. Well, actually, pretty much everything in my life.
Fire ready aim.
Yeah, business, words, things I say, whatever. Fire ready aim. So basically, I'm like, hey, my attorney, I'm like, how do I not get sued with some of the stuff I say? Because I got hit pretty hard. Early investors just in our community got hit pretty hard, kind of beginning of winter with a local brokerage in town, which we can dive into that. I know you do some real estate, a little bit of real estate investing. We can dive into some stuff. But anyway, I'm like, hey, I don't agree with this. How do I rebut it? Because it's going to potentially impact my business and not get sued. And it boils down to one thing. Don't say from the pulpit, you are going to hell if you do X, Y, and Z. You are wrong because of X, Y, and Z. You're an idiot. Don't give any form of opinion or insults, because if you're wrong, from a legal standpoint,
it's gonna come back and bite you in the ass.
Slander, right? Defamation, all that stuff. Talk about what you believe.
Yeah.
I believe in ethical real estate investing. I believe that hell is real and heaven is real. And I believe that you say just your quick ABCs prayers and you accept the Lord as your Savior and you enter heaven. I believe that, and I believe when I get there, there will be gold roads and all this stuff, which is...
That's a whole thing.
If you're focused on the roads...
Yeah.
Can we just take a second and remember that we're in heaven? But anyways, whole tangent there, right? Goodness, like you're in heaven. Come on now. The roads don't matter.
Yes.
Yes, there's chocolate waterfalls and everything you could imagine and giant football fields made of friggin' marshmallows. Who cares? You're in heaven.
It's your version, baby.
I believe that, and I believe it is an eternal life and, fountain of youth. I believe all that's there. And I believe that here's how you get there. But I'm telling you what I believe, not this is what you should do. Yeah. Hell is real. Like the sign south of 71 between Columbus and Cincinnati, and I was like, it is. But can we, when I say what I believe, going back to the everyone wants to be led statement, when you communicate your beliefs, your missions, your values, that's how you move your people in your company, move your people in your community, in your church, in your sphere. Because either they're going to get behind that with you and support you, which I believe is what leadership is, or they're not, and they just need to go find another seat on another bus. That's it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and leadership is done from the front. You said something in the beginning when we started having that conversation about does everyone want to be led. Too often times, right? And I remember early in my career when I was first put into management, I thought leadership was nothing more than telling you what to do and expecting you to do it, right? Now I tell every single guy that walks through the door here, I have done your job. Mm-hmm. I will do your job again. Quite frankly, I tell my employees all the time, and it's not from a place of like me being, it comes from a genuine place of humility, knowing that I could do it all again if I had to. I'll do it with you, I'll do it without you, but I want to do it with you, is the entire sentiment that it comes back to. And I get led every day. Sometimes it's my wife leading me. Sometimes it's my business partner. Sometimes it's my people that work here. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it comes back to God. It's sometimes people through my freaking phone listening to a podcast. You don't have to physically have a relationship with someone in order to be led. It can be done through the books. It can be done through so many things. And if you think that you are all-knowing and that you have it all figured out, it is so, I feel so bad for those people.
You ready for this? Dylan, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? And I'll answer it for you, right? And I'm stealing this. This is from Brandon Dawson. I'm a big Grant Cardone guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But he defines this, right? And it's just really focused on leadership. Confidence and arrogance. Because there is a fine line. Because you're like, oh, I know all the bad traits about me, and I know people I know the bad things of the Tristan shit list on, he's fucking arrogant. Like, he talks, he says fuck,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I get it, right? I already know the bad things, so I don't really care what people say about me, because I already know what they're going to say about me. But arrogance is the reliance on yourself and only yourself. Confidence is the reliance on yourself to execute based on those around you, and bringing those around you to help support you, you support them, and we're all lifting each other up.
I love it.
That's it. That's all it is. Because if you are, I have all the answers and I know what I'm doing and this is why, because I said so, which sometimes someone, at the end of the day, someone's got to make a decision. That's why there's a leader in the company. I get it, right?
But you should have counsel when you're making those decisions.
Exactly.
Especially when they're big decisions, right? Especially if it's something that's going to affect multiple people or you feel like there's going to be backlash. Like, that's the hard part about leadership. And back to the educational piece. It drives me up the wall when these kids will get MBA degrees and I tell them, give me $100,000 to ride my truck for freaking 6 months and I promise you'll get more out of me than you would ever out of an MBA degree. Because you go back to the educational system and that whole thing, dude. Like, it is, I will say this, because I've been spending some time speaking in schools. And I don't think that local school's ever going to invite me back. I don't want to say their name on here.
Dude, I was going to say that. I'm like, they may invite me, but they'll hear me say, don't go to school, and they'll be like, what are you doing? That's not what we do here.
They literally invited me. I went on the morning announcements, and we were doing some segment. I don't even remember what the hell it was about. We were talking about career paths, and I said, look, I'm going to be the only person that's going to tell you this, probably, that you're going to see inside this building. But I'm telling you right now, if your gut tells you don't go to college, do not do it. If it says go to college, don't get me wrong. I use this all the time. I don't want the guy that's working on my heart or whatever to be a freaking a trade school guy, right?
There's a purpose for it.
I want that guy to go through because we have that, well, and we could go into the healthcare system and all that stuff and that whole thing.
The insurance system.
What a
healthcare system. United and the Aetna and the Cross Blue Shield system.
We have so many people come here and they're like, you have health insurance? I'm like, bro, if you actually dissect as to what health insurance does for you, you'd be like, yeah, man, that makes sense as to why you don't pay for it. Like, it's not that I don't want to give it to you.
Catastrophe insurance.
It is, yeah. Essentially, yeah.
And you either have no money and you get it, you work for the government and you get it, or you work for a giant company that's in the pockets of the government in some way, some form, and you get it.
They're getting subsidized.
You're a small business like us, you're fucked.
You are, dude. And that's
the premiums.
My wife and I are on the health share. That's how we had our daughter.
Okay.
$1,000 is all it cost us to have our kid. If I would have been on a traditional healthcare system, it would have been $6,000 on my deductible for that year, and I probably wouldn't have gotten it all covered. There would have been something I would have been out of network this, that, or the
That's what I did.
Yeah, I would rather cash pay for most of what I do, just based on my knowledge.
Well, you pay $22 a month for 150 months, and then you're 25 months in, and then they're like, you're good.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It makes no like the logic behind it, and I think that health insurance at one point in time in this country was great. It was everything it was cut out to be. But now the problem is, and I have a friend who is a doctor. We were having this conversation last week, and he goes, our issue is they're incentivized to keep you unhealthy. And it's 100% true. I mean, it's everything that we're seeing come out of Washington, though, with these conversations. And I'm not getting hyper-political on that. It's a fact.
Yeah.
When you go in and they start to treat you based on your symptoms rather than the actual issue causing those symptoms, that is a problem. Because all they're trying to do is keep you unhealthy and get you on something that your body does not naturally need. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand we live significantly longer than people did in the past.
Sure.
I'm not saying that it doesn't have its own place. But doctors are no longer trained to treat the actual problem. And instead of saying, hey man, you're a little overweight, you need to go to the gym a little bit more, and you need to cut back on your calories, they're saying, here, we'll put you on Ozempic, that's going to fix all your problems, and we won't talk about all the side effects it's going to cause on you. It'll make you lose weight. That's essentially what we're going to boil it down to. We're going to highlight this one thing. We're not going to say that it's going to cause your stomach permanent damage. We're not going to say all these other things that come into play.
We say it really quickly.
Yes. Oh, yeah. At the end of the commercial, some guy's rambling off, and you got to freaking pause your TV to read the page, right? And if you even get commercials anymore, right? So, but
extra $3, they all go away.
Well, that leads me into something because you're trying to get sub 13. Is that what you said on your sheet? Body fat.
Yeah, 13%, and then like 159.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Well, here, you want to know how I got that? I took a picture of Jack Reacher.
Okay. And
I sent it to ChatGPT and said, this is the body image I want, but there's a couple problems that I can't fix because of bad genetics. I'm 5'11 and a half. I'm actually 5'10, but I'm basically 6
It sounds
foot.
good. That's what guys do.
Yeah. I'm almost 6 foot.
I'm 5'11", but I'm 6 foot than everybody else.
Yeah. That's why I have to work out so much, so my wife doesn't leave me, right? Because my height doesn't start with a 6, so I'm in the gym, right? I work a lot. I work out at a Planet Fitness because I travel a lot, and I need a repeatable gym where the equipment doesn't change.
There's nothing wrong with Planet Fitness.
Dude, I love
There's nothing wrong with the freaking gym bros. You go to the same gym, like, bro.
dude, everything's new. It's bright. I don't really care. And then there's one everywhere. So I have my little workout app on my phone, and it has the equipment all loaded into it. It's a place, whatever. And I'm like, I won't be able to achieve the protein intake that's needed. So make me a workout plan and a meal plan that gets me as close to looking like Jack Reacher, hot as hell, and do that. And then I did it, and it was like, what should my body fat be if I did this for 12 months? And it said 13%. And I'm like, great. I was like 180 at the time. I'm like, I weigh 180 now. How much should I weigh? And it's like 159. I'm like, cool. That's how I set my goal.
It's that easy.
3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I'll just do it. And I'll pivot if I need to.
Well, no.
Fire ready aim. Fire ready aim. He's hot. Let me look like him.
Well, I'm not knocking the guys who are out there doing the fitness hustle, because by all means, there are some people that need that coach. Yeah. But you can get on freaking ChatGPT, Grok, whatever your AI platform is. Hell, you can get them online. They're out there just for you to grab and get a workout plan. Like, put it in place, and then freaking, yes, it's in between your ears.
That's right.
Yeah, because I make the excuse all the time, like, oh, I'm on the road all the time. I got to stop at the gas station. That's where I got to eat my food. Like, instead of meal prepping and spending a little bit of time to do what I need to do, right? And we all make these shitty excuses, or I want the ice cream, or I want this, or I want that. And then we look at ourselves in the mirror and go, I'm unhappy. Like, it's funny because I'll get on a good regimen. I walk around like 260. Everyone's like, you don't look like that. I'm going to stop fucking saying that, because all you're doing is feeding into the fact that all my internal fat's okay, right? And all that. And don't get me wrong, I have some muscle mass. Like, I'm not a weak guy. Yeah. But also at the end of the day, like, my body, my joints cannot naturally handle 260. Yeah. I have the same joints that you do. Mm-hmm. I should be, realistically, my body, as with my muscle mass, should be walking around about 220. That put me sub 20% body fat. I'd be A-okay. Mm-hmm. A-okay. Right? And yeah, will I probably live a good life if I walk around 260? Yeah, I might not be able to roll on the floor with my grandkids and all that good stuff like I want to. That's a shit you have to talk about with yourself. That inner dialogue has to get better with that stuff. But for the folks who are like, I don't know where to start, jump into a freaking AI and just ask it basic questions. I'll be honest with you. You want to know where to start? Drink more water, cut your calories down, increase your protein intake, and go on a freaking walk.
And move. Yeah.
Move your body.
That's it.
Listen to a Gary Brecka podcast one time. Like, the guy's not the be-all, end-all for things, and honestly, he's not even a doctor. Mm-hmm. But when you start to realize that it's just move my freaking body, it's amazing.
That's it.
Yes.
And then do that, because day one's great. Day two's hurt a little bit, but day three, it's like, nah, it's too fucking hard. I can't do that anymore. Yep. It's like, okay, do something besides walking up, to put a freaking cosmic brownie in your mouth and then taking a shit and like, oh, that's it, I moved. No, just go for a walk around the neighborhood.
Yes. Take your dog for a walk. If you got kids, take your kids out. Kids want to be outside. Everybody bitches because their kids are freaking buried in their phones. You know what the problem is? You're the moron that put it in their hand.
Dude, my kids are assholes when they get too much fees. Yes. We do like a little cleanse from it. They don't watch TV in like 2-3 days just now. They're fine.
Yeah.
They watch enough movies and they're assholes again. I'm like, what in the hell's wrong with that?
I was a latchkey kid, dude. We were literally forced outside.
Yep, same.
We beat the shit out of each other because my brother and I were really close in age. Like, we did a lot of shit we probably shouldn't have done. But I tell you what, it made me a hell of a construction guy. Like, I look back at all this stuff and I go, yeah, we were building freaking tree forts that should have killed us.
The sand table in there, you like pick it up, eat it, and throw it at people. And I'm like,
but it's not like, so this funny that you say you're afraid of horses. My wife, we own 6 of them. My wife works at a farm. They have 80. Let's get you up and get you riding, man.
Nope.
We're gonna get you out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Nope.
But like, my kid goes there. She goes once a week now, just because my wife tries. We're sending her to daycare for exposure, and then she goes to a sitter just to give my wife a break.
Dude.
But she gets her one day a week at the farm, and my kid eats freaking shit off the ground. Like, not physical shit, but like, she'll eat a French fry off the ground. Like, if she's eating French fry, she drops on the ground, she's gonna eat it.
Let's ruffle some feathers. Did you vaccinate?
So that's a hot topic.
Sure is.
Because I go back and forth on it. Uh-huh. Our first one, yes, we stayed on the schedule, and our next one we will probably see. So here's where my viewpoint has started to turn towards. Do you listen to Andrew Schultz's podcast at all? Do you listen to anything with him? Interesting fellow, because he put it the best, I feel like. Because he goes, here you are. You made this the most perfect thing you've ever made in your entire existence, which I'm sure you can, just in me saying that, you went back to that delivery room right now, you can picture both your kids, because I can. And I'm probably a little bit more on it just because my baby's about to be a year old.
Yep.
But here you've created the most perfect thing you've ever created. And if you vaccinate and it fucks them up, you're going to feel like shit. And if you don't vaccinate and it fucks them up, you're going to feel like shit. So with us, our viewpoint has started to shift more towards we will vaccinate on essential vaccines, what we feel like are essential vaccines, once our kids are old enough to be able to actually handle those vaccines.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We did the vitamin K with Allie, for our oldest, at the hospital, and then I think I don't even know. Whatever the disease was, they had diarrhea.
Okay.
She's 2 months old and she's breastfed. She has diarrhea all the time. What are we preventing here? And that's what I looked at. But she just turned 4 and she got her polio vaccine. I'm like, okay, we still have a polio problem, so let's go get the polio vaccine. But I feel like their little bodies weighing a whole between 6 and unfortunately 12 pounds sometimes for some of those bigger babies. Poor women out there. Hey, Mother's Day is there.
I tell you what.
Listen, my 30-second contribution.
My ass could have never done. If men were responsible to put babies into this world, bro, we would have a bigger problem.
I'm not doing it.
My wife is a blessing, bro.
Hey, I couldn't even imagine. But I don't think their little bodies are capable. And there's things out there we're leaving the hospital and they want us to get a hepatitis vaccine, and I'm like,
dude,
babe girl, you got hepatitis? And she's like, no. I'm like, didn't you already get tested for hepatitis? She's like, yeah, because you have to do it while you're pregnant. And I'm like, well, I don't have hepatitis, or you'd have hepatitis. And we're like, okay. And they're like, where are they going to live? I'm like, I live in a pretty nice house in Ontario. Sandpiper Lane, whatever, picket fence, all the good stuff, right? Where's she going to get exposed to hepatitis at?
Yeah. Is there a chance?
Sure.
Back to that probability conversation. Is there a chance? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, but it's so small that I'm like, well, I'll just take the chance on her.
That's the one that got me.
Hepatitis?
Right? That's the one that started the wheel. Because we started way late. It was a week before my wife got a vaccine book. It was way too freaking late for us to do.
And labor, and they're like, here.
Yeah, they're just, and that's a...
They do a bad job anyway. You have a baby, they have you watch a 3-minute video.
Bro.
Sleep on back, don't shake baby, and don't put blankets or teddy bears in the crib. And I'm like, do I have to sign?
My mother-in-law was like, they didn't teach you all the stuff about... I'm like, what did you think they taught us?
Yeah,
I watched a video on don't beat the shit out of your kid.
Dude, they give you a cigarette and slap you on the ass and say, best of luck.
Yes, it was nothing, dude. But no, that's what the hepatitis one is what started. And I'm gonna blow your mind a little bit on TB and polio. So my doctor friend and I were having this conversation last week. He's got a 10-month-old. He's got 2 other girls. He's got his little boy. I think it might well. Anyways, doesn't matter. And there's a book written that they think that actually the polio was misclassified as a disease. And by the time that the polio vaccine actually came around, we were actually already curing what we were considering polio. So even though it is probably one of the safest vaccines out there from the fact of how it's done on the schedule, it's probably not even essential based on what we already know in modern medicine. And this is a guy that's a doctor that's having this conversation with me. And so then I start like, oh, shit, does she even need that? And then on top of that, then you go back to, is my wife going to end up homeschooling her kids so I won't even have to worry about talking about vaccine schedules and things like that with people that it doesn't matter to? Now, granted, once again, I'm not the complete anti-vaxxer guy that's just like, screw it all. I'm not.
Vaccines aren't real.
Yeah,
diseases aren't real. COVID was fake.
What? COVID was man-made, but
it was blown out of proportion. But it definitely was real.
It was real. It was a thing. I've still never been tested for it, ironically.
Dude.
But that's no. I think that vaccines have a place in the world.
Exactly.
What's
your risk?
But what's your risk assessment? I went to Africa on a short-term mission. We had 2 guys that ended up coming back with malaria.
Yeah. And if you go to Africa, you get a malaria vaccine.
Or at least take the pill, right? Or whatever you need.
What? I don't even know what it is. I don't go to Africa.
It actually attacks your blood cells. So then
I know what malaria is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to get a vaccine.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a pill that you take. Well, there's a vaccine for it, too. But you can take a pill and be immune for 2 weeks. And what blows my mind, so back on that topic, here's what pisses me off about the way our government spends money. Mm-hmm. Here's these kids in Africa that have malaria.
Yeah.
And I have a 4-year-old coming up to me saying, can you pray for me? I have polio as we're doing an altar call. And it's a $4 freaking shot, yet we're just giving money to people, these NGOs, for all this bullshit, because that's what it is.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
It's waste.
Yep, we're just... Like, you want to send my tax dollars there? Like, let me check a box where my money goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay taxes regardless.
When I tithe at church, I get to pick the fund it goes in.
It's typically, yeah.
So I'm like, where's that on?
Short-term ministry? Yeah, all
sure.
day, man.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to probably go to something that I don't necessarily believe in, but our government is I also listened to a guy the other day. He went, our government used to work for us, now we work for the government.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild.
Well, when World War I's done, when World War I's over, we won't have to pay income tax anymore, in case you...
Yeah.
So whatever that is.
Dude, I could go for free. But that's where you go back to the vaccine conversation about your kids, man, and you're just like, what do I do? How do I, like, and then on top of that, dude, my 6-month-old's getting a freaking vaccine, and like, of course, mom doesn't want her to be attached to her, that she's the one that's the big bad person. So dad's in there, and I'm wanting to smack the shit out of a poor nurse who's just doing her job. Mm-hmm. And then here's another thing that might freaking screw you up a little bit. Did you know that if they have a 75% vaccination rate for that clinic, the doctor, not the clinic, gets a $40,000 bump per annual?
Why, though?
What is why are we incentivized?
Why?
And then they want to, and then you go back to, and I am a conservative person just in nature, but one of the worst things that ever happened from a safety standpoint, from a health safety standpoint, was Ronald Reagan signing the vaccine blanket immunity that now you can no longer sue them for screwing you up based on what they put in your body.
And why is it incentivized so much for people to get vaccinated? And why are people that are vaccinated so worried about the people that are unvaccinated? In fact, you're vaccinated. Dude, you're vaccinated. Why do you care?
It's like COVID. If your vaccine worked, why the hell do I need one? Just saying.
And why are you so worried about getting COVID if I don't have my vaccine? You got yours. You're good, right? Well, you're spreading it. Well, but the people that are going to get it didn't get vaccinated.
And yet,
so all of a sudden you don't believe in your vaccine. Wait a second, then why'd you get it? And why are you so concerned if I've got it?
And the herd immunity, it's just going to call the weak. It's just how nature works. Because those people typically, we don't want to have a Christian conversation. We want to have a nature conversation. But it's only convenient to have a nature conversation when it's convenient for you.
Yeah.
Right?
My body, my choice, but not vaccines.
Yes.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, we can't discriminate on the 8 protect, but we also have another blanket, 300 things, but we can pick and choose from the categories and rearrange them as we need to go. And I'm like, I think there's a word for that. You're a freaking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
How about you do you and you do me, and you it is your body and your choice. You want to vaccinate, do your thing. You want to turn yourself into a pink spotted polka dot elephant, do your thing.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. But don't think that I need to participate in your beliefs, cultures, or viewpoints if I don't agree with you.
And there's nothing that says, well, I thought this was the land of the free.
Huh?
Why the hell are we concerned about what, like, here's my viewpoint on, so we're edging on something that I feel like just is going to come out, so I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
My viewpoint on gay marriage, and my church said it the best. We attend the chapel in Norwalk. I love it.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing. I love the non-denoms.
Like
Here's my church. I remember we did the membership meeting, and my wife and I, we literally attended one church because we're like, we're going to find a home church. We attended one. We're like, hey, we're here. Went to the membership meeting, and I'm like, they're like, all right, you're going to ask what our viewpoint is on gay marriage. Here's what it is. You want to be gay and you want to be married, you can do it, but you can't do it here. I'm like, that's my viewpoint. If you want to be gay, you want to be married, I don't give a shit. Don't affect my life. Mm-hmm.
But you're not special, and you don't get
privilege,
and you don't get any extra things because you're gay and married.
It does not make you a subcategory that all of a sudden is
just go be happy.
Significant.
Which means this is how gay meant, like, because that was like the original, like, oh, gay,
be happy.
We're gay. Just be happy, do your thing.
Yeah, and don't add a million fucking letters to the alphabet because of it.
No.
Because I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You talk to me about, even I don't know what the fuck queer is. Lesbian, gay, get that, bisexual. Those three.
Yeah, I'm good with those.
I can direct that the second you
start. Pansexual, bisexual, T-sexual.
And you want me to know, and you're mad if I don't.
Why are you so concerned on me why do you care so much about my beliefs and your sexual preferences?
Yes.
Like me and
what
my
you
wife,
do in the bedroom does not matter to me.
I'm a man, she's a woman, we have lots of sex all the time.
Yes.
Do you care? Well, no, I don't care. Well, why do you care then what I believe about your thing if I don't care what you believe about mine? I'll do me. Well, yes. I'll do her.
Same difference, huh? You became one. She's had your rib. It's the whole thing.
You do him, they, them, thy, shalln't, whatever. Do your thing. But don't expect me to participate in your sexuality because it's your thing.
Yes. But the issue I have with it from a political standpoint is we open up the spectrum and call it a spectrum. Where is the hard line in the sand?
You either have a chromosome or you don't. You're a man or you're a...
When they dig you up in a million years and say, oh, look, we can tell by his because back to that conversation about you want to pick and choose what works for you. Biologically, you are a man, you are a woman. That's it.
Yep.
There is no ifs, ands, or biology course. I understand some people can have a double X and a Y, and that makes them genetically different.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But also outside of that, how we can view you genetically is what it boils down to. Mm-hmm. What you feel is not my problem. If you want to all of a sudden be a man genetically who wants to be labeled as a woman, I'm not going to probably call you ma'am unless you look like a chick. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to be honest. If you look like a chick, yes ma'am. But if you try to follow my daughter into a bathroom, I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I identify as a woman.
And if you say, hey, I transitioned and I'm a woman, I would appreciate you call me he or sir. I'd be like, oh, sorry about that. Don't be offended when you look like a he, she, half dude, half woman. And I'm like, you are different and people look at you different because you're different. Just when the different car drives down the road or the different house in the neighborhood, when things are different, you look at them. When there's a blimp flying in downtown Mansfield, you'd be like, holy shit, there's a blimp. But when there's a bird flying in downtown Mansfield, you're not like, oh my gosh, it's a bird. It's different. You just look at it, you point at it. Yes, you do a double take. And if I call the chick a he, I'm sorry. If that offended you, I'm sorry. But just be like, hey dude, don't do that. I'm a girl.
And if you're respectful about it,
okay.
I have no issue.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. I don't believe, I think you're a man. But that's your belief. I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. Will I slip up again if we're having a lot of conversation? Probably. I may say sir, he, whatever other pronouns there is. But I don't need to. But know that I don't intend to.
No, and it's a respect thing. I'm going to call you sir, man, because it's a respect thing. Yeah. Women all the time. Don't call me ma'am, it makes me feel old. It has nothing to do. I'm genuinely trying to respect you, and you going out of line and saying I'm disrespecting you because I didn't see that you had a card that said I am this person. That's not my freaking problem. Yeah, you're a minority. Why are we catering and bantering to a minority? Don't get me wrong. I have no issue with the minority of the population because at the end of the day, that's why we're all here in America. The minority is the reason behind that. I have no problem. And you have the same liberties and freedoms that I have.
Yep.
Just don't affect other people in doing so.
Go be gay if you want to.
Yes.
Go be a hippopotamus if you want to. I don't care.
And quite frankly, that person, back to the Christianity conversation, you need salvation just as much as I do.
My wife and I were talking about the gay marriage, and I church regularly. I actually go to Crossroads in Mansfield, right? And they hit really hard on certain subjects, and they're like, no, this is black and white. This is where the church stands. This is what we believe biblically, and this is why. And there's no deviation from these things. She made a comment, and she was like, well, this person on Facebook they just got married to a guy, got married to a guy, or a girl married to a girl. I don't know, whatever. Gay marriage, lesbian marriage.
Some kind of gay marriage.
Something, same-sex marriage, right? And
abnormality.
I don't know that I can like it because I don't support that. And I'm like, I get it, but you support them, right? You support them being just happy. That's all that is. Like, I don't really think that. We're way too in the weeds. If
we're splitting hairs, yeah.
But just, I'm happy you're happy. But don't expect me to participate in you being gay.
Yes.
Will I go to the wedding? If you invite me, and I'm usually I'm on this new kick, like I say no. Just say no. Just say no, right? I'm way overcommitted myself. And that's one of my 2025 goals. Like, oh, no, I can't do that, sorry. But I'm not going to be like, I will protest because this is a gay wedding and I cannot go. Dude, I don't agree with you, but I want you to be happy.
Yes. It's no different than we're just deep in general. It's no different. It aggravates me as a Christian, the people that want to stand out, and especially in front of a Planned Parenthood, and protest abortions. Mm-hmm. Not because I think abortions are good, but because we're back on this conversation of selling someone. If that woman is contemplating that, the last thing she needs is someone screaming in her face that she's an idiot and she's going to hell because she murdered her baby.
Yep.
You as a Christian, if you are in your word, should be comforting that person, having a biblical talk to them about the decision they're about to make, and let them know that there are other options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it.
And that's where it goes with the gay thing, right? I can support their happiness. Do I think biblically it's correct? No. I don't. That's just a fact.
I agree with you.
But it doesn't...
I agree with that too.
Yes.
Both things.
Yes, but it doesn't mean I should rob their happiness.
No.
I should never be a thief of joy.
Because again, you build the wall, and you're more focused on giving your point, and they're going to be more focused on giving them point, instead of finding harmony where we can have a conversation.
Yes.
Because regardless, you'll never move it, because you'll never change what somebody believes. You can pick it, you can shove all the facts, figures, and things right in their face. You won't change what they believe without them changing what they believe. And that's a stupid thing to say, but only you internally can change your true belief system. And you're only really going to do that, in my opinion, with a conversation like this.
Yes. Just a simple conversation. It doesn't have to be... There's zero reason, if we find something we don't believe on today, there's zero reason why this needs to turn into a shouting match.
Worst case, we're both identified as reasonable people.
Yes. And guess what? One of the sides may end, and both, we may end up going and jading each other and trying to meet in the middle somewhere.
We don't have to meet though. It's fine to
But
not.
that's
why I agree that you have that. That's a fundamental system that I have. I believe that whatever you say, you believe it. You know why? Because you said it, so you do.
Yes.
It is true.
Yes. It is factual.
Yeah, but I'm not going to disagree with you and be like, you're wrong, you're an idiot. Well, now I have to justify why I'm not wrong and why I'm not an idiot and why you're an idiot for me calling you an idiot. And then I have to rebut on your now conversation and your tone and your emotion that you put in the conversation. And now we're fighting with emotion. And instead of just like, I believe that we shouldn't have moved in with each other before we got married. I believe that we should have. And it did well for us.
Yeah. And there's a place, right? And I look back and I do say that there was benefit to that.
Yeah.
Right? The issue that I have with it is the fact of I want my daughters and I want my kids to live a better biblical life than I did.
Absolutely, for sure.
And that's the issue. That's where you wrestle with it, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you're going to look back and go, well, because I tell the story all the time. It's on the internet all over the place. My wife and I met on a Friday, on Good Friday, of all things. We met on Good Friday, and we moved in together on Easter Sunday.
Okay.
I moved in, brought a bag, never left. That's essentially the story.
We were basically living back and forth all the time. But like, if I look back and as a dad, we have daughters, right? And you don't want them just going out and having sex with everybody.
I want them to respect themselves.
Exactly. And I don't want the baggage that we had to deal with, right? Because it just adds unnecessary things to the relationship when it's just things you shouldn't have to fight about, and you waste so much time, like not even fighting, just like getting into feelings about just things that happened before you found your person. And I think, yes, you should, I wrestle with this one big time. Should you wait to date until you're ready to get married? Yes and no. Because at the same time, I'm really glad that I got to figure out what I wanted before I met my wife. Otherwise, I may have married the first person I ended up dating because, I'm going to marry this person, and that's what I came up with.
Well, and that's funny you say that because...
we were talking about this last night. How do we deal with that?
Yes, because my wife and I had to date other people in order to figure out what we didn't want.
Yep.
And God did not... So, I'll give you the cliff notes. My wife and I met in Nashville on a random Friday. Mm-hmm. That's how on Good Friday. I left. I was there for one night. She was there for the weekend. She was on a girls' trip. I was on a random family vacation and said, screw this. I drove 6 hours from Gatlinburg to Nashville. I'm like, I'm hanging out for the night. It was a whole thing. Yeah. But we lived 45 minutes apart most of our lives. I lived in Mansfield. She lived outside of Norwalk. And had we met at any other point or in any other fashion, it would not have worked.
Yeah, same.
God intentionally put us in that situation for that reason. Ironically, I was actually going to that bar to hang out with another girl, and ended up my wife was one of the girls it was with. The girl texted me and said, bring somebody for my friend. My wife's name is Tori, T-O-R-Y. I'm apparently a little dyslexic and read it as Troy. I'm like, I got a game. I'll go get Troy, whoever he wants in the bar, and I'm just going to hang out with these folks. The entire game plan was I'm a chameleon. I'm going to, if these guys suck, I'll just go find another group of people to hang out with, and I'll just go party in Nashville. And I met my wife. She hated me. I could sense it. I'm a salesman. I know when people don't like me.
Yeah.
I'm just a human.
It only makes you feel it more.
Yeah, yeah, bro. I was like a dog on a bone.
Come on.
Yeah, she's fresh off a breakup.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
Her mom told her, do not go to Nashville because you're going to do something you regret.
Stop taking my story with my wife. Okay? It's my shit.
No, I want to hear yours, bro. But if we had crossed paths in any other way, if it was on a dating app, if it was me messaging her on Facebook, if it was any other it would not have worked.
Done it.
She would have been like, this guy's a douchebag, because I was.
You weren't ready for each other.
Yes. it was like the relationship, like I was ready for a relationship, but she was still in one. And I had to linger around for 2 years going, what the fuck do I do? And it ended up making, and there's a lot of bad decisions involved with that. And there are things that, I don't think the regret is the right word because I don't have regrets. Mm-hmm. There are things that led me to where I am. But I don't want my kids, back to that baggage thing, I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. I also don't want my kids to go get married at 20 and rush into the first relationship that they have and have a failed marriage because of that. So that's where you have to find that fine balance. Because then at the same time, you have to, as a parent, and especially as a dad of a girl, that man will be asking for my daughter's hand in marriage. Yeah. But how do I gingerly say, this ain't the dude? Mm-hmm. Without pissing her off because she thinks he is. You know, so then you just go down that whole rabbit hole.
I think, honestly, so I think it's just be brutal about all the shit you and Tori, me and Lindsay, all the things we went through, and all the things that we continue to go through because we just didn't have our shit together. Yeah. You just be honest. And hopefully I hope to have that relationship with both Allie and Chloe where we're open and it's like this was shitty Tristan. Because I mean Lindsay, there's no way. She is smoking hot. She is way too good for me. She always has been, she always will be. And
same about
dude, if she would have met me when I was in high school, back to like, damn, I really know what boys, no way in hell she would have stuck around. I wasn't ready for her, and she had growing up to do on her own, and she said she wasn't ready for me. So the fact that we literally, my buddies were like, dude, come out. A couple days after your birthday, your birthday was in the middle of the week, just come out. We are pretty people, and we met at Clubhouse in Mansfield. Not our usual cup of tea. She was with a friend. I met my guys out. And one of my friends was like, dude, I put in so much groundwork with those chicks over there. Like, oh, dude, yeah. And I was like, what'd you say? And it was me, my friend Evan, and another one of my friends. Nate, he's like in his 40s or something. And Nate, I love you to death, dude, but you're not the motherfucker. And everyone was talking about Nate. And Lindsay will tell you, she was like, Evan went up, was like, hey, my friend thinks you're cute. You should go talk to him. And Evan tells me that about Nate. And I was like, what? I'm like, do you know anything about sales? Because that ain't it.
No, bro.
Can you just get like an ounce of game? Because
yes.
The only thing you're going to get is a restraining order with that shit. They're just going to leave and be like, bye.
They're peacing
so
out.
Evan tells me
they're going to take
right?
their drinks and
yeah. And he was like, well, what would you do? And I'm like, watch and learn. So I go over, bought us all green tea shots, and we just hung out.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn it. But that's how we met.
Exactly I did with my wife.
Right? Met on a Friday night, went to some friend's house. I went back to her apartment. I was like, hey, we were talking about chess. You teach me how to play chess? Whooped her ass in chess too, dude. Oh, it was embarrassing. Never played before, and I was like, well, can I do? And she was like, yeah. Knocked it out. I sat like 8 feet apart from her with my feet underneath her ottoman. I got like I don't really sweat, but I got a sweaty feet problem. My feet smell like shit. We sat up talking all night long, and she was like, from me to like that door over there, and she was like, I don't even think you like me because you didn't even like come close to me. But that's like the story on how we met, and that was like Friday. That was in February. I think I started designing a ring in like April, proposed in July, right at the beginning of July, bought a house in September, married in November, and then we bought a dog to wait having kids, and then got pregnant in like, I don't know, May. Allie popped out in February, 22.
And kids are the best, man.
Oh, she's the best. Dude.
My heart hurts for the guys who are like, I never want to have. I'm like, bro, you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even like. I can sit here and tell you it's the most like you'll love it more than anything, but you don't even know. Like, it's just the most beautiful, hardest, best
so
thing.
You have one right now, right?
Yeah.
When did you start this, Roof Bros?
Oh, bro, I was doing this long before I met my wife.
When did you?
18.
2018.
Yeah.
When did you get good at it, so to speak, and you're like, all right, everything's going well?
It was right after my wife. My wife changed everything for me.
Would you? So this is one of the things I struggle with. When I popped in, it's Step Mobile, but rebranded Easy Justice and really helped build the company up to what it is today. And I did that after I met my wife, and through the part with kids, which is something I'm really struggling with now because I miss freaking it right there alone. Yeah. Hey, Allie, just pray to Jesus. No first steps, no first whatever. You miss all the firsts, which.
And I do too. I'm still
my job's to work,
busy.
But I wish we would have. And if I say this, and I kind of hate saying it out loud, but if I would have built the company first and got us financially stable first, and then had kids, I could have been more present. But I don't know that enough would have ever been enough because just the way I personally define success, where you capable. But I'm like, dude, if you look at it, I mean, are you glad you did it in the order? You built the company up, and I'm sure this place is freaking popping, and you're talking about rebuild and all that stuff. But are you glad you did it, or do you wish you would have? And look back. It just fucks with your neck, right? Because you can't look backwards, right? But
there's nothing to look back to. Yeah.
do you wish you would have put more time in first, that you could have been more present towards the end, or
I think that.
where are you at as a dad on that? Because I wrestle with that.
Yeah.
Big
So
time, big
so
time.
I'm
Dad,
gonna
husband, all of it.
I'm gonna talk to you as a guy who's a hair lord. I'm 31, but I've lived a lot of life, and I've been very fortunate to be in front of a lot of really good and bad dads, which I think is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that the business is where it is when we had Lainey. That's my daughter's name. But that being said, if you're a high-driven person,
mm-hmm.
you said it exactly. Enough will never be enough. I had a buddy one time. There were some talks of possibly being able to sell for a good nugget,
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. And we were kicking it around. And I told buddy, I said,
I'll just go start something else.
well, I said I'm going to sell it and retire. He goes, no, you won't. I'm like,
Just
all
do
right.
something else, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I'll just sell it and retire. He goes, no, dude, because you told me one time that, because Ed Milet, and I'm going to give you a copy of his book if you don't have it. Ed Milet, we saw him speak one time. And
Which book? Power One More?
that one is his new one. It's right here. Yeah, Power One.
Power One More, yep.
Phenomenal book.
Oh.
Change your life, man.
Yeah.
And if you ever get to hear him speak on it, just game changer. But his version of heaven is when you get there, God's going to go, hey, I have the person that you...
2 TVs.
Yep, I have the person that I made you to be.
Yep.
You want to see him? And he's going to go, yeah. And he's going to go... see, he says it different. He goes, oh, you caught me. You got me. I don't think that we're ever going to be the person God ultimately made us to be.
No, we're always going to fall short.
Yes.
Because He created us in the image of Himself.
Correct.
Right?
So we're never going to...
Never be God.
Yes. You're no. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We can manifest. We can create. We have powers that people don't even understand. But I want that guy to look at me and go, "You almost had me."
Yep.
And I think that there's different facets. So everything comes down in life on how we focus.
Mm-hmm.
And if I focus, like right now, I am in a season where I am dad. That is all I do. So much like you, I travel probably the year before Lainey was born. I probably was gone for did not sleep in my own bed for at least 3 months out of the year. Whether that's traveling for speaking engagements, traveling to go do personal development, travel to go train other guys, traveling to go grow in the business here, whatever it was, right?
Yep.
Since Lainey's been born, I have been away from her for 2 whole nights. I have focused on, now don't get me wrong, there's some nights when I get home and she's already in bed, and I leave before she's up, you get home before she's in bed, I miss things, my wife will send me videos or it's a FaceTime, and I don't want to be a FaceTime dad, but what I want to be is when I'm there, I want to be a present dad. And that's where you're never going to, it doesn't matter, you could sell all of your businesses today, Tristan, and go and be dad for the next 18 years and think that you got it all figured out, but you're still going to miss shit. Mm-hmm. And back to that conversation of, and you said it already, you already have the answer, bro. I think you're just waiting for somebody to say it. We have different things. My wife is the nurturer. I cannot breastfeed my kid.
I can't even nurture my kid.
Yeah, I don't have the nurture qualities. I am the hard dad. I am the one that's like, she's on the cusp of walking right now. I'm like, let her fall. And my wife, blessings to all of her, she is much the same way. Like, let her fall. Like, we're good. Like, yesterday we were at the in-laws for Mother's Day, and she was walking, or she's attempting to walk, and they're like, oh, don't let her fall. I'm like, dude, I don't care. She's got to learn how to fall in order to learn how to walk. That's my viewpoint on life. You have to learn how to fail in order to learn how to do.
Yeah.
I learned more from my failures than I ever did my successes. But that being said, dude, it will never be enough. You're going to miss something. We are meant to provide. We are meant to complement our wives. Our wives are meant to complement us. Mm-hmm. Also, too, though, don't be the hard-ass dad, because that doesn't solve anything, in my opinion. Dads also play a stronger role than we feel like. It's not just to provide, but provide means more, mm-hmm. right? Provide means to provide them with wisdom, to provide them with knowledge, to provide them with a friend when they need it, to provide that, there are other things. And like I said, you're going to miss things, but it doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you less of a dad. What matters is when you're getting home, are you taking off that watch and leaving the phone in the car for an hour just to be present with the kids?
No, that's what I struggle with.
Lock it in the truck, dude. I'm telling you right now, lock it in the freaking truck. It doesn't matter. I guarantee you nothing will happen within that hour that cannot be fixed in the next hour when you pick it back up.
I preach this all the time, and I just need to take my own advice. Some people are like, oh, well, what if I lead a real estate investing group in town, right? Meet up. And they're like, what if it burns down? And I'm like, well, first off, that's the best thing can happen. I don't know if you look at replacement costs, but you better hope and pray that it burns down, and of course nobody gets hurt.
It's a good thing.
It's a fantastic thing.
Yes.
Everybody makes money when that happens. But anyway, I was like, what are you going to do?
How are you going to...
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you going to help that? And if it's burnt down tonight, what are you going to rush over there? Guess it's still going to be burnt down in the morning. And I preach this stuff all the time, but I never take my own freaking advice.
Yeah, we're bad about that, man. I am such a better armchair quarterback. I could come in and fix your business better than I can fix mine typically. And I think that most humans are like that, right? Most of us can see what's wrong, but we don't have the self-awareness to go and actually do it, or we don't have the willingness to be in the pain a little bit more than we need to be in order to fix it.
Oh, dude. All the time. And it's, it's so easy. Like, oh, you know how you get fit? You eat less,
I literally just told you how to be...
you drink more water.
And look at me. Hey, look at me. I still stop for a damn cheeseburger. I'm still doing things I'm not supposed to be doing. I can tell you how to fix you, but I don't have the willpower in order to fix me. That's a self-realization moment right there. And we do it so much in our lives. But you will 100% fix what you focus on, is what it comes down to in life. And honestly, bro, you're not failing as that. Here, I got some advice for you. Not even advice, but it's a tidbit of knowledge. So I did some training one time with a Navy SEAL. And I'll get where I'm going. I promise it's good advice. But he works now on unpackaging all the shit that's in our brain and bringing it out and relaying it back out and then putting it back in to make us who we are. For instance, for me, my parents divorced when I was 6. Well, they officially divorced when I was 6, but they were separated by the time I was 4. So I never really cognizantly remember my parents being together.
I had that.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Because it usually is an indicator of a high driven. And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because that's why you're striving for more. Because that's why I'm very focused on making sure my marriage is healthy with my wife. That I'm present as a dad. Not that my dad wasn't present, but also my parents had me when they were 20 and were struggling. It's not a bad thing. I had a guy at a conference one time ask me, he goes, were your parents present? And I literally almost broke down. I was like, what? And he goes, were your parents present? And I'm like, why am I feeling emotional? My parents were at ball games, they were doing all that. My parents weren't present. That's why I key on put your damn phone down. You talk about the screen time with your kids. I catch myself doing it, and I know it's bad because my daughter's obsessed with my phone. Why is my daughter obsessed with my phone? She's not obsessed with my phone because it's interesting to her. She's obsessed with my phone because she sees daddy playing on it.
Yep.
Right? And my 1-year-old's giving me this advice. And just a little bit of perspective. Anyway, back to the Navy SEAL thing. So he's telling us all about hey man, we're all screwed up from little things that happen in our life. Usually they're subconscious. We don't know about all this. So we're like, all right. And it's an 8-hour training, and it was miserable. It was cool, but it was miserable from the aspect of, you talk about being drained, dude. Somebody starts talking about, the composition of your brain. It's wild. So then a bunch of us raised our hand. We're like, hey, how do we not fuck up our kids? We're like, give us that advice. That's what we want. He goes, no, dude, you're going to do it. You just don't know how. He goes, your job is to make sure you don't do it too bad. And I was like, that's fair. Because we all have trauma. That's what pisses me off about that word being thrown around. We all have shit. Is my shit above yours? No.
Dude, it's too bad now. We've overused trauma.
Yes. We need a different freaking word.
I got a paper cut, and yes, by definition, it's trauma. My body is reacting to it, but
yeah. Your mom dropped some heavy stuff when she was on this podcast. Heavy stuff. And I'm thankful that she was able to speak it because someone heard that. My prayer is that someone hears something we dropped today and goes, shit, I need to live my life a little bit. I hope somebody takes the advice of the phone and genuinely applies it. Even if it's for 15 minutes to start out with. If you're going to go work out, you don't go cold turkey and go, I'm going to go run a freaking decathlon.
You're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're going to freaking have a bad time and you're not going to want to do it again, right?
Just as if you try to change something mindset-wise like that, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself mentally.
1%. Just get 1% better. That's what my let talks about all the time. 1% better every day. And so the biggest thing, man, is how do I get 1% better as a dad? Like I said, that's the season I'm in right now, dude. That is my entire season. Granted, the business does well. We're still growing. Everything's going the way that it should be. I've got a phenomenal team around here. And I have really big goals. And, well, hell, the team has really big goals. And I'll talk about those off camera all day. But the business will be there tomorrow.
That's true.
And here's another thing, man, to think about. We all have a clock. It's going to stop at some point. We have no freaking idea when. And I pray that everyone gets 90 years on this earth and they live a full, happy, healthy life, get to see their grandkids, their great grandkids, and just have the abundance of joy knowing that family is there. If something were to happen to Tristan tomorrow, the businesses will either run or they won't. The government contracts will still get picked up.
Damn.
Someone will still buy the properties. But guess what? Those little girls will remember their dad.
I was listening to Alex's podcast, and it just dropped. I'll text it to you.
Absolutely.
And it's about, in a nutshell, caring what other people think about you. And really not, right? It proves why you shouldn't. But the impact that you leave, and you said at the very beginning, is really through your children.
Yes.
The money that you make is gone. The materials.
It's God's.
Yeah, for sure. At some point, the sun will explode and take out the earth. So all material possessions they're in a completely secular world, vaporized and burnt and just to lava, ashes, whatever.
Yeah.
It's useless. In the money, and I started thinking about this, right? And I was like, I plan to make a lot of money. I want a lot of money, and not because of the money, but the impact that I can make with it. And I truly believe that. And leaving it to my kids, I want generational wealth. I get all that stuff. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that through real estate. I'm going to do it through our software business. And I have a very clear plan on how I do it. One of the things Alex said was, most people leave money to their kids when they die. Pretty normal thing to do, right?
Yeah.
My parents are in their 50s, and I'm almost 30. So they'll probably die when they're in their 80s, right?
90, somewhere
exactly.
around there.
So that's 30 years. So they're going to die when they're in their 80s. I'm going to get that money then when I'm in my 60s. Well, I'm kind of set at that point. Either
you got it or you don't.
I'm broke, but I figured out how to do it, right? I don't really need that money. So really, if you want to make an impact by inheritance, give it to them when they're, not when they're 18, but 25,
when you're still alive.
30.
Yeah.
That right there is where you could change the direction on, I went to, they don't do this, but Lord, please don't let them go to college. But if you do, I do want you to go to specific schools, and you're not getting a double doctorate in figure painting because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But you can change certain circumstances or conditions and places you live and education, places that you attend to get the relationships. That's the value that I see personally out of education. But we'll get there.
And even if there's that anymore.
Which I don't think there will be.
The last time I looked at a fucking resume when I was hiring somebody, people were like, "You saw my resume, right?" I was like, "No."
I want to know you.
Yep.
What's your life resume, dude?
Do you have it or not? Especially if I'm hiring you in sales, do you fucking have it or not?
You're either gonna make it here, or you're not. You'll have some of the employees like, God, they fire quick. It's like, well, yeah, we're not gonna keep a bad employee.
I'm not keeping
around.
a dead weight. That hurts everybody else.
But what do you want? A 50-step interview process, and we've grown leaps and bounds
We have
to
a
try
4-step interview process.
try to get some of those going. And you're saying we have a 3-step now to try to understand who we're
I've got a
working with.
4-step I'll tell you about off camera that is going to change your life.
I like it. And we've done a lot better job, but if they don't work, we'll get rid of them.
Yep.
And then we'll just try again.
Yep.
If you suck, I'm not going to keep you around. Because everyone else at the company, they rock. They're A players. And if, the B team, even C team comes around and tries to interact with the A player, they're going to be like, dude, who are you? Why are you here? Because you don't have what it takes to succeed at the level that I'm succeeding. That's just the employee. Like, they're just
Let's
walking
start
out.
self-policing. Yeah.
Get out. That's it. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just
You want me to blow your fucking mind? You know what generational wealth actually is?
hit me.
So, I got to give you a little bit of a illustration before I tell you. Okay? I got 2 people. Okay? I've been to both their funerals. I knew them personally. I have one. I have a higher net worth than he does today. Significantly.
Mm-hmm.
But, lived a long life. Was married to his wife for 60 years. Had 4 kids that are all successful by their own right. Had 15 grandkids that are all successful by their own right. Has great grandkids that are going to be successful by their own right. And every single one of his kids and grandkids almost got up and spoke at his funeral about how great of a person he was, and they still talk about him today about how great of a person he was.
Yeah, that's true.
Worth less. If I had to make a guesstimate, he's worth probably $150,000 at the time of his death. Like I said, I have a significant more net worth than he does today, and I'm not saying that's not an arrogance thing. That's just a factual
Yep.
observation. I have another guy that has a net worth in the hundreds of millions. At his funeral, kids are worried more about what they're getting, because they're going to get something, right? He's going to pass down money. Has 6 kids, 3 of which don't talk to him or have sued him in his lifetime. Does not have significant relationships with any of his kids or grandkids. Very successful person on the surface. But what did he pass down?
Nothing. Tangible paper.
Yes.
I agree.
I don't give a shit if the first person's grandkids are working at McDonald's as long as they're successful. I will tell my kids that. I don't care. You can go be a burger flipper, but you better be the best motherfucking burger flipper that's ever stepped in the doors.
Dude, those burger flippers making like 18, 19.
Oh, bro, it ain't like when I was a kid.
Dude, I walked into Five Guys in Ontario. They got a sign on the door like $17.35 starting
To
out.
start.
And I was like,
yes.
whoa.
Yes.
The lifeguard making like $4 an hour. I mean, I ate plenty of cowtails, right? I mean, I got my money's worth, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Juana Hills Pool, I'm sorry, I stole from you.
I'll write you a contribution check.
We'll buy a brick or something to fix that place up now, right?
But no, like, when you think about that, that's a conversation that I have often, and I use a much longer illustration, but it's a conversation that I have called self-worth over net worth.
Dude.
If your self-worth is higher than your net worth, you will never fail. I don't give a shit. God can strip this all the way tomorrow. Take it away. Give me my kid, my dogs, and my wife, and my relationship with him. And I'll build it back better. Quite frankly, I know I will. That's just the confidence that I have in myself. I know I will do it better. I will do it faster, and it will be more efficient.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, dude, like I tell my parents all the time, you know what you should do? Spend it. I don't give a shit. My kids will be taken care of. You know why? Because I'm raising them. And it's not because mommy and daddy are going to give them things. I'll flat out tell my kids, when I got my plane, that's mommy and daddy plane. You go fly coach.
Dude, I'm with you.
They will be humble. They will have humility. We will go and we will do mission trips as a family. You will see what we're working towards and who we're serving. You will see that we're better. There's no, like, dude, there's nothing that drives me. I don't want to sound arrogant, so I don't want to, like, drop, like, numbers. But once again, I have a significant, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Money-wise. But I put my fucking pants on the same way that every other person does. And I am not above anyone.
The status isn't measured in money, just like you said at the funeral. Ultimately, it boils down to, did I make the world a better place? Yes or no? And if I did, then people speak at my funeral. Then people attend. And ultimately, in 500 million years, if we last that long, you don't matter anyway because everybody forgot you.
Tell me your great-great-grandfather right now. Yeah, you have no fucking clue, do you? Unless he's somebody, like, hyper-significant, like a Rockefeller or a president.
Yeah.
You have no fucking idea.
Who was the last celebrity that died that was an Indian woman, 34 years old?
No fucking idea.
I mean, I just made that up.
Yeah,
Right?
but
that's what I mean.
No,
Everyone's like, oh, you know Betty White's dead?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone, you know, oh, it was so bad the day after. If she made an impact. But the day after that, did you think about her? Have you thought about her since I just said it?
Well, better kids did.
Exactly.
And that's where you have to be careful, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm much like you. I want to be worth a lot of money from the impact that it can create. It has nothing to do with status or me wanting to feel better than anybody. Quite frankly, I'll still, like, dude, I wear work shirts that are, well, they're not free to me technically, but they're free, right? I wear Walmart jeans. My socks are from Walmart. My wife and I actually share socks because she has big feet. Love you, baby. And then the most expensive thing on my body typically is my on clouds. Like, and they just last a while. That's the only reason I buy them.
I just got a cloud.
I love my clouds.
Oh, clouds are the best. That's the most old man thing I do too.
Oh, bro. They didn't get. I told my wife, I was like, I don't want New Balances, but you can buy me a white ass pair of on clouds.
I got these giant ass monkey toes, and I wore out. You know what? So I'm marking some white Adidas's today, but you know my OCs.
I love them.
Oh, okay.
I bought them on accident one time, and I was like, I will never own.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about Nikes.
Yep.
I don't give a shit about nothing. Like, just buy me on clouds.
Just right. They're supportive.
Yes, they're the nicest. But once again, dude, I'm wearing.
That's how you know we're old.
Yes, exactly, dude. I'm wearing I'm wearing $200 in clothes right now. I don't give a shit. Now, do I have nice clothes? Yes. I like to take my wife out and wine and diner, but dude, it's a Kohl's suit jacket and a discount rack. Like,
I got this at Walmart. This is the True Classics.
Yeah, dude.
The belt stuff didn't fit me quite right. I think these are probably TJ Maxx. I don't know. This baby girl, she takes care of me.
Oh yeah, my wife does a great job.
Where do you shop? I don't know. My closet. Things show up with hangers.
Amazon?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know that dude knows my house by freaking heart.
Yeah, one-day shipping now? Like, I can't. I hate shopping.
Yeah, why do I want to leave my house?
Dude.
Yeah, I pay for this mofo. Why do I want to leave? But that's the thing. Like, it has nothing to do with status. Like,
Nope.
I've never seen a hearse followed by a U-Haul. It doesn't matter, dude. Like, why are you worried about the material possessions? Why aren't you worried about making impactful relationships that people actually talk about? I pray to God that my great-great-grandkids talk about how cool their grandpa was. Or at least have little nuggets,
The only
right?
thing I struggle with it, right? Because I really care much about material possessions. I mean, I love nice things. I made money. I want to have something worth it, tangible. Like, I got a nice truck. I want a nice car.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. I like my nice shit.
Right, exactly. I just like nice things because it's nice, and I work hard and I buy those nice things. So, you should go buy nice things too. I think it makes you feel better about yourself in a weird way that doesn't necessarily matter, but it just is what it is. Whatever. You feel good when you wear a Rolex. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably do.
I'll
probably never fucking own one.
I don't know.
My Citizen, my wife bought me on my wedding day is perfectly fine.
Lindsay may get me one just because, but that's it.
Yeah, if my wife, it's a significant thing then. It becomes significant because of who gave it, but it doesn't, like, and don't get me wrong, if watches are your thing, by all means. Mine, honestly, is experiences. I love to go and just enjoy a good vacation with my family. That's what it is to me. That's my Rolex.
The only thing I struggle with material-wise is I work my ass off, so I'm not present a lot. I travel, so I'm not present a lot, and my wife stays home with the girls. I have a pretty nice house. Mansfield standards, right? Pool in the backyard. Looking back, I was like, damn, we should have bought like a fourplex or something that lived inside. But I look at that thing and we're talking about schooling, and I pay a vast ton of money in property taxes. And I was like, listen, she's going to Ontario, one, because it's right around the corner, and two, because we just wrote a check for like $9,500 for the year. And I was like, it's gonna hurt real bad if I also have to pay tuition on top. I mean, that's my.
But
I was like, I want you to have nice things, and I want to provide a nice life for you because I just want that as a man.
Yes.
That's the material thing that I kind of wrestle with.
But you can have some pride in that too, right?
Yeah.
Like, does my nice house? Because we have a nice place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a humble place, but it's a nice place.
Yeah.
Like, we are the nicest house on our block. I brag about that all the time. I'm looking around. I'm like, and I live in a nice neighborhood. But I'm like, I got the nicest place here.
Yeah.
Just period in a story.
But okay, compare your nice place to Jeff Bezos' nice place.
Exactly.
It's all relative.
It's relative.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it's all relative. And my lot of money is not a lot of money compared to Bezos or Elon.
But don't compare it. Because you gotta come. This is a core principle of mine. Where am I at? Right? And let me back up 1 second. I'm a Christian. We established that. I believe that I was created in the image and the most perfect DNA. And I believe that the things that I'm capable of, if not used to their fullest extent, to the fullest capability, and right, if I don't do that, it's squanders in my life.
Yep.
So here's where I'm at, and here's what I'm capable of. This is where I'm at. This is the goalpost. That delta, that is not success. Unsuccess, that right there, in my opinion, is failure. So when people are like, well, is enough ever enough, when they're asking the wrong question? If the goalpost is here and I'm here, then no. Because God allowed me and created me to close that gap, and I believe that I'm supposed to close that gap. But here's the problem with me. I get close, and I get close, and I get close, and that goalpost is like, see, bitch?
Yeah, it's a mirage.
So yes, the goalpost moves. Is enough ever enough? No. You know why? Because I am capable of more, and I should do more. In every aspect, being a dad, being a husband, being a leader in my church, a follower of Christ, being a businessman, I should do more in the gym. You should always do more. Power to want more, right? And you'll never need it. And it always is like, well, is it ever going to be enough? And it's always around money. Like, oh, money won't make you happy. It's like, dude, we are not talking about the same things.
No.
Because the two are disconnected.
Money will make you happy as a vehicle.
Dude, I hate to, we'll ruffle some feathers here. People that say those comments, money won't make you happy, like a penny saved is a penny earned or something like that. It's something like that. In my opinion, those people don't know anything about money.
No.
And they probably don't have any money. And even if they have money, they don't know how to keep their money. They don't understand what money is. And we are in a tangible world, and it takes paper to get places right now. Right? You need money.
Just a fact.
And it doesn't... A penny saved isn't a penny earned. A penny is a penny. I walk over a penny in a parking lot. You don't pick it up. It's worthless. What does it take? 4 cents to make a penny?
Yeah,
Save 3 and get rid of it. Something stupid like that, right?
Start making them out of steel, please, government.
But you aren't talking about what actually matters. You know, right? Well, all that work won't make you happy, right? All that money doesn't make you happy. You're right. You know what makes me happy? When I go out and I busted my ass to get a huge-ass contract that I know is going to change the trajectory for my life, my family's life, my employees' life, and truly touch the world, right? Make a dent on the freaking world. That's what makes me happy. When I go out, I win it, I kill it. That's when I'm happy. The money is a result of the things I've done. And every single time I do something that ultimately, usually, it's somehow one way or the other makes money, which there's nothing wrong with that, being successful in business.
God wants us to make money.
Yeah. Every single time I do something,
your labors, man.
I make the world a better place for everyone else around me. Every single time I do it, somebody benefits. So, is enough? Well, every time I move a needle, more times than not every time, more times than not, people benefit. Monetarily, impact-wise, something happens.
You're, in my opinion, you're beating around the one core thing, which is fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Those people that have that viewpoint of, oh, money's not going to make you happy, you're exactly right. Money has nothing to do with my happiness.
No.
My happiness has zero hinge on money.
No.
It does not matter. It is nothing more than the paper it's printed on. Don't get me wrong. I need it to freaking operate.
It's worthless.
Yes.
It's a piece of paper.
It
is not worth anything until it's used.
Yes. And you defining your life on how much you're worth, that's, like, I'm sorry, you have a shitty life.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it boils down to. You just have a bad life.
Mm-hmm.
And until your perspective change, you're not going to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
My fulfillment comes from, are my girls happy?
Yeah.
Right? Are the people in this office happy, well taken care of, and do they have food in their bellies? Mm-hmm. We have never laid off an employee here. I've never missed a payroll. That's fulfillment to me. Mm-hmm. It's a
weight, dude.
Bro. I lose sleep, I've had stomach ulcers, like I could go through all of the shit. Don't get me wrong, we're in a great place now,
Mm-hmm.
but
you shit, yeah.
And like John Maxwell says it's the best. He says, you want to be where I am, but you don't want to do what I did.
Dude. They always see the end.
Yes. Oh, it must be nice.
Is the end.
Bro, you tell me it must be nice, I will fucking strike you. Like, I will punch you right in the mouth. It is nice. You know what wasn't nice? The sleepless nights. The $500 a fucking week if I was lucky. They
don't get it.
Questioning if payroll is going to get made this week. The wondering how you're going to make it to next week. The agony of wondering if you're going to close that contract or not. Wondering how you're going to make it through the winter. All this, no, it is nice. Where I am now, and I needed all that.
Yep.
Best college I ever went to. Once again, I have a degree. Best college I ever went to was failing in a business. Mm-hmm. Best college I ever freaking went to, dude. Because now I knew what not to do.
It comes down to really rich and poor, and this is, right, we dive in the Robert Kiyosaki side. It's not about money. Because you have the nicest house on the block. Well, compared to what? I could have the nicest trailer in a shack. We're good. I could have the nicest trailer in a shack. It doesn't matter. My trailer's nicer than yours. We're in a trailer park. Well, okay, that is great if I was living in a shack in Somalia. But, I probably would have a medium. Exactly. The rich versus poor is about mindset.
Yes.
Because do I have the capability to expand my means to take care of my people around me? Because if you are, that's great. Don't bitch, moan, and complain that you don't have enough, though, and not do anything about it. That really, that grinds my gears.
Yeah, or
judging people,
or waiting on somebody else to all of a sudden kick up for your falling short. Well, I'm just waiting on the government to do this. I'm just.
God, dude, don't assume control for everything. Right?
Yes.
If you have to turn control over, please, oh Lord, please, do not do it to the government.
Yeah, you want to drive me wild, dude. If I don't have control, if I don't have your story.
Yep.
Like,
this is it. This is what kills you. It's what sets everybody back.
Yep. It's the 7 inches between your ears is the problem. And another thing that you said is, you're talking about, like, I know you're in the government space, the government contract space, and, all that stuff. If you think as a business owner that you're immune to corrections, you're fucking wrong. Mm-hmm. Every single business goes through a correction. That's all it is. Yep. We had ours last year. It was not because the market sucked. It was because the business had some fat eggs in it, and then we ended up getting kicked in the nuts. You got a moment there where you can either be a little bitch and be like, I'm done packing it up, selling everything, and I'll move on to the next version of my life. Or you go, hey man, I'm digging my heels in the fucking sand. I'm staying to my guns and doing what I said I was going to do. I'll do it with you or I'll do it without you, and I'm going to do it without you. And the other piece of that, or the other side of the coin, is it can either be the end of the story or just another chapter.
Yep.
And you get to decide at the end of the day, is it the end of the story? Do I stop the book here and I go on to the next one? Or do I just make it a small chapter and we talk about it and it ended up being a shining moment, the light on the hill? And, you know, man, I feel like we could keep talking forever. I know you got a heart out here.
That's where the wealth really comes from. That's a rich mindset.
Yes.
I'm going to go get more. Not more money.
And what's mine?
Yep. I'm going to get what's more, what's mine. I'm going to grow. I'm going to expand. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to have the hot-ass wife, the beautiful girls. I got it.
Yes.
Because when I got it, I could be like, oh, relationship ended. Oh, bad things happen to me. Bad things happen to me often. Bad circumstances always find me. Let me bitch about it, complain, and talk about Dylan. Dude, don't be a little bitch.
And I'm the richest man in the world, man. And so are you. Because at the end of the day, it's all perspective.
It is. Because you're rich and my rich, they're different.
Yes.
I'm richer than you. Okay, cool. Elon walks in the room. Oh, well.
I'm a broke bitch.
Dude, you need some help? you only made $4 million this year. Like, that's it. You only made $10 million this year. That's it, dude. Why are you comparing? And if you are going to compare, I think there's somewhere like
level the playing field out a little bit.
Dude, if you're going to compare yourself to the great.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you got a kick-ass business around here. But you're a Mansfield and I'm a Mansfield. If I'm going to try to get some more, I'm not going to compare myself to you and be like, oh, I'm going to get what Dylan got. Because you'll be like, oh, you don't want what I got. I haven't made it. And if someone's like, oh, I want what you have, I'm like, don't want what I have. Because you're going to get here and be like, oh, there just needs to be more. If you're going to compare yourself, at least do it against, I'm in tech, so like Steve Jobs or Zucks or Elon, whatever. Compare yourself against that, because that delta is going to be more, and you're going to have to do more. So you're going to end further on down the road. Don't stop at Tristan Gardner.
Yeah.
Right? Don't compare yourself to Dylan, because you're going to be damn upset when you get here and be like, well, I'm not that much further off than where I started.
Well, and the other piece of that too, man, is like, so guys will ask all the time, like, who's your competition? I'm like, nobody.
Hmm? Yeah.
That's not an arrogance thing. I don't have, who the fuck am I competing against?
Yep.
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
You are the fucking reason why you're not as good as you want to be. Yep. I tell my sales guys that all the time. You are the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You're the delta.
Yeah.
Like,
we have competitors. We have people that play in the space that we have in, right?
But it doesn't mean that I'm competing against them.
No.
You didn't sell as well as they did that day.
Yep. I beat them. Yep.
Yeah. That's just it, man. Well, last minute here. Is there anything we talked about a lot?